at bbcworldservice.com. Heart and soul.
Malcolm Rogers is back in the UK after 6 years in charge of St Andrew's Anglican Church in the heart of Moscow. Join me, Bob Walker, as he and his wife Alison tell us about the challenges of being a Westerner at a time of increased tensions in the Russian capital.
This is the BBC World Service, the world's radio station.
Brings felony charges against Donald John Trump.
Wages rise at a record pace, up by 7.8% in the 3 months to June, prompting fears of further increases in the interest rate. Firefighters, but no water. 99 people are now known to have died in Maui's deadly wildfires as questions grow about the response. Flash mob warning: parents are told to take responsibility for their children's actions after looting in London and LA is blamed on social media. Ready for the semi-final. England prepares for their big match tomorrow as the first World Cup finalist will be decided this morning. Good morning. A court in the US state of Georgia has charged Donald Trump with trying to illegally overturn the result of the 2020 election. The former president has called the charges deranged, partisan, and corrupt. 18 of Donald Trump's allies have also been charged under Georgia's racketeering law, which is usually used to convict mob bosses. Now, Donald Trump now faces 4 separate criminal cases. The most serious is a federal investigation relating to the riots in Washington following his defeat in the 2020 presidential election. The charges include conspiracy to defraud the United States. There are over 40 criminal charges against him over his alleged mishandling of secret documents after he left the White House. The former president is also accused of falsifying business records. That's about hush money allegedly paid to the adult film star Stormy Daniels. And this morning, there were those additional 13 counts added against his name in the state of Georgia, including racketeering and violating his oath of office. Our US correspondent James Matthews reports.
President Trump.
He's the former president, already 3 times indicted. In New York.
34 felony counts of falsifying business records.
We love Trump!
In Miami.
Violations of our national security laws.
And in Washington, D.C.
Conspiring to defraud the United States.
Indictment number 4 in Fulton County, Georgia, comes with a soundtrack.
I just want to find 11,780 votes.
The Donald Trump phone call is at the heart of this case.
The people of Georgia are angry. The people of the country are angry.
A president's appeal for votes he didn't have in an election he didn't win. A criminal enterprise, according to Georgia's district attorney.
To accomplish the illegal goal of allowing Donald J. Trump to seize the presidential term of office beginning on January 20th, 21.
The plot was laid out in the paperwork hand-carried through court building corridors. The admin of indicting a former president, now routine. US political history isn't what it used to be.
Thank you.
The indictment tells of the Trump phone call amidst demonstrations, counts and recounts in Georgia. Joe Biden won the state in 2020, but Donald Trump called it Secretary of State.
If we could just go over some of the numbers.
He wanted the result reversed in his favor. The election official resisted.
I just want to find 11,780 votes. Fellas, I need 11,000 votes. Give me a break.
Well, Mr. President, the challenge that you have is the data you have is wrong.
Georgia has leveled racketeering charges against Donald Trump, a prosecution tool typically used to tackle mafia crime. The Don in this racket is joined by 18 others. They include his former Chief of Staff Mark Meadows and former personal attorney Rudy Giuliani. The 19 charged are accused of criminal acts that include leaning on election officials, illegally accessing vote counting machines, and creating false voting records. Their scheme to keep Donald Trump in power is said to have spanned several states. Indictment number 4 was already carded when Donald Trump hosted last week's Live golf tournament at his Bedminster course.
Mr. President, thank you.
Listen to the crowd.
We love you, Mr. President. We love you. We'll be back. He will be back.
And you hear the strength of his following, stronger, seemingly, by the indictment.
James Matthews from Sky News. Do you fear a fourth indictment, sir?
Do you fear a fourth indictment? Donald Trump waved off questions about a fourth indictment. He can't any longer.
Everybody back up.
Nor can he pin his hopes on the prospect of a presidential pardon in Georgia. At state level, that doesn't apply. The Georgia playbook places his future not in his hands, but firmly in those of judge and jury. James Matthews, Sky News, in Washington.
I'm joined now by Greg Swenson, Chair of Republicans Overseas UK. Greg, good morning. Thank you so much for talking to us.
My pleasure.
You know, you read through the intro that we did with all the cases, the charges, you listen to James Matthews' package there. It's difficult to remember that this is a former president of the US that we're talking of.
Yeah, Kimberly, it's a great point. And I think James had some good points in there. This is just so unprecedented. There's really no historical metrics to compare this to. It's really, pretty outrageous. And whether you're a critic of the president or not, these indictments are coming fast and furiously. It seems like, deja vu all over again. Every time there's bad news on the Biden family influence peddling schemes, there's an indictment the next day. And the timing is interesting, or maybe it's coincidental, but this is really unprecedented times for both President Biden and President Trump.
As a Republican, let's talk of Donald Trump's these now 4 cases against him.
Sure.
How do you reconcile that? How do you come to terms with that and process that? What do you think about that?
Yeah, I mean, look, we could talk for hours about it. I think the president has clearly made some mistakes, and that's why we have elections, and that's why we have political processes like impeachment, which sometimes is used correctly, and sometimes it's not done without proper discretion. But those are the tools that we have. The question is whether using the justice system and the weaponization of the justice system to interfere with elections. So, interestingly enough, these cases, or many of the cases, are about elections. But on the other hand, maybe it's time to let the people vote. And if there's a political urgency, we have the impeachment tool. But so you can make an argument that there is a political, a weaponization of the justice system, or in some ways a double standard when we're seeing how the president is treated versus how others on the other side of the aisle are treated. That doesn't mean that the president didn't make mistakes. So if you decided his behavior was unseemly after the election, which would, I guess, be an understatement, then don't vote for him. And plenty of Republicans are not going to vote for him, partly because of what he did after the election and in and around January 6th. But it doesn't necessarily make it criminal. So we'll see how the courts judge these things. I think the documents case has a little bit more merit legally. The Alvin Bragg New York case is a complete joke. This one is a bit of a stretch, trying to connect what he did to illegal activity, and the same you could say for the January 6th federal indictment, where there's really no statutes that have actual laws that he broke. So with all these indictments, no one should be surprised if there's a conviction in there. I don't think it'll be in New York. I don't think it'll be the federal Jan 6. It could be on this one, and you can make a pretty credible argument that there's some indictments that could work to convictions in the documents case.
You speak of unseemly behavior. There's unseemly behavior, and then there's criminal behavior. And yes, innocent until proven guilty.
Sure.
How in James Matthews' package, right? And you said, let the people decide. When they vote, they'll decide. In James Matthews' package there, you heard the people rooting for him in the crowd and saying, you'll be back again, you'll be back again. There's a real chance that he won't be back again because he'll be serving time.
Yeah, Possibly. I'd be really surprised if he actually goes to prison on any of these things. Again, I can't predict these things, but, you asked earlier about how do you reconcile? And I think, it's important to know that, yes, he has some really loyal followers, and I would say 25 to 30% will always support him no matter what. The other 25 or 30 that are in the polls right now, he's polling at like 50 or 55. Half of those voters only switched over to Trump because of the indictments. There's that sympathy vote. They're rallying around him because they think it's unfair, and there's a double standard compared to how the Bidens are being treated and past Democrats have been treated. So, you can, in terms of reconciling, many of us are critics of Trump and want someone else to be president. Ron DeSantis, I think, would be a better president, not just because he's more electable, but because he'd be better and he's more conservative and his record is better. And I think and he's younger, obviously, stating the obvious, but I think you can believe in that and be a critic of the president, but also think that the treatment from the justice system is unfair. And you've even seen that from critics of the president on the left. Alan Dershowitz, who's very well-known Democrat lawyer and litigator who actually worked for Al Gore in 2000 during that election controversy in Florida. And he's, clearly not voting for Trump, and he's never voted for him, but he's also been quite critical of the justice system here and really the double standard. So I think you can believe in both. You can believe in those two truths.
Don't they have to convince a grand jury to indict him, though? Yeah,
and I think that, look, in both of the state cases, in New York and Georgia, you have very aggressive prosecutors who basically ran their campaigns as quote unquote get Trump candidates. And so the question is, can they convince a grand jury who might not have that political bias? Now in New York, 88% of the jury pool voted for Biden, and I could argue really dislike President Trump. I don't know what those numbers are in Georgia. Georgia's more of a 50-50 state, but Fulton County would probably lean Democrat. So, but can you get a fair jury poll? I would think so in Georgia. I wouldn't think so in Washington or in New York.
Okay, Greg, time will tell, and I am sure we're going to be talking about this a lot.
Thanks,
in
Kimberly.
the weeks and months to come. Greg, thank you for your time today.
Good to be here. Thanks.
Still to come on Sky News this hour, why videos like this one are prompting police to tell parents to get a grip on their children. 2 years on since the Taliban takeover, we ask if Afghans are being let down by the West, and why charities are telling the government to hurry up and make the delayed online safety bill law. The rate of the UK's annual wage growth has hit a record high, with some concern that it could lead to more interest rate rises. Figures from the Office for National Statistics show annual growth in regular pay, excluding bonuses, was 7.8% from April through to June. That's the highest since comparable records began in 2001. Wage growth in the private sector sat at 8.2% over the same period, surpassing inflation, which was 7.9% in June. We've also seen an unexpected rise in the unemployment rate, with the figure in June at 4.2%, an increase of 0.2% from May. Let's get more now from our business presenter, Ian King. He's in the city for us. Good morning, Ian. So just talk us through all those percentage points, please.
Well, they're a bit of a mixed bag, Kimberly. I think the big number that will jump out for a lot of people, though, is that rise in wages growth. And that will certainly alarm the Monetary Policy Committee at the Bank of England, because the figures are appreciably higher than forecast. For example, the pay excluding bonuses rising by 7.8%. Well, the market forecast was only 7.4%. And that private sector wages growth during the month of 8.2%. Well, again, that was significantly higher than the Bank of England itself was forecasting. It had been looking for about 7.6% for this period. So wages growing appreciably faster than anyone expected. And it looks extremely likely, we obviously get the inflation data tomorrow, but it looks very likely that July is going to be the first month since April last year that wages have risen at a faster rate than the headline rate of inflation. In other words, real wages starting to rise again, which is something, as I say, we've not seen for more than a year now. So that is likely to prompt the Bank of England into moving again. That's certainly what the market is pricing in now. You'll recall, obviously, the Bank of England's Monetary Policy Committee raised interest rates to 5.25% earlier this month. They next meet on September the 21st. So bear in mind, we've got another set of these figures, the employment and the inflation data, to come before that meeting. But the market is now pricing in another interest rate rise when the MPC meets next month. That would take interest rates probably to around 5.5%. The market is also now pricing in a terminal rate in the jargon, in other words, where interest rates peak in this current cycle at 6%. And obviously in recent weeks, it's drifted down from that. So that will be of concern, particularly to householders. But there are also some elements in these numbers that potentially could point to the MPC sitting on their hands. For example, you mentioned that rise in unemployment. What's very interesting is that the labour force is expanding again, and that will be something that ministers will be very pleased at. Obviously, post the pandemic, you had a number of people, older workers, deciding to drop out of the labour force because they were taking early retirement. You've also had a number of people on long-term sick leave, and that is something that has been of concern to ministers in particular. But what's interesting is that the labour force is expanding again. The inactivity rate, which is the number of people who basically are of working age but aren't involved in employment in any way, well, that's come down very, very slightly. And the number of people in work in July, well, that hit 30.2 million, which is a record. So there are signs there that potentially the market is softening. The number of job vacancies, for example, well, that fell for the 13th month in a row, but there are still more than 1 million job vacancies out there. The ONS also provided some very interesting data on the composition of the labour force and where jobs have been created. There was an interesting nugget in there today. The number of people employed by the National Health Service is now 1.94 million as of March this year. It rose by 19,000 in the 3 months since the end of last year. So absolutely extraordinary figure there. I should say, though, as I say, the market is concentrating on that rise in wages. The pound has risen against the dollar and the euro on the foreign exchange markets too.
OK, Ian, thank you. The number of people known to have died in wildfires that devastated parts of the Hawaiian island of Maui has now risen to 99. Search teams are continuing the painstaking and dangerous task of searching the ashes for further victims, with hundreds of people still unaccounted for. Our US correspondent Martha Kellner sent this report.
For the firefighters on Maui, it's been a grim and gruelling week. They're still tackling new outbreaks sparked from smouldering wreckage, and asking why exactly was this disaster so deadly. They're not permitted to speak on camera, but tell me that on Tuesday afternoon, when fires ripped through this island, when they were trying to save lives, their hydrants first ran out of pressure, then dried up entirely. Civilians were left to fight their own fires.
It's a kind of disconcerting feeling when the fire guys show up and they don't have water.
Kyle was trying to put out the flames beside his house, first with a garden hose, then whatever he could find.
I'm grabbing water out of the base of my kid's basketball hoop. I was grabbing water out of the toilet. I was grabbing water out of my Brita filter in the refrigerator.
The lack of water was compounded by a lack of warning. The island's outdoor emergency alert system stayed silent as the fires hit. This is one of 80 sirens on Maui that didn't sound. Authorities say they instead issued alerts on text, TV and radio, but in Lahaina, the worst affected area, the power was already down. Some people there received no warning at all. Questions are mounting for the state's governor.
We know that Western Maui is designated as a high-risk area for wildfires. Were you unprepared?
Could we be more prepared? We will always try to be more prepared. Nothing would make us more pleased if we couldn't go back in time and have a lot more protection from sirens. We will do all we can to get more water. We will do all that we can to get more warnings for people.
Some native Hawaiians see this disaster as a continuation of long-standing frustration and pain.
Says Lahaina grown on it.
Richie lost his home in the fire.
I've seen the politicians go from Hawaiian natives, people representing the culture and traditions that live here, to people that aren't even from here. They just don't even have any roots here. It's got to this point where it's like, who are these people watching us? Do they even properly care for us?
As a hunt for the missing continues here, so too does a search for answers and accountability. Martha Kellner, Sky News, Maui.
A 10-year-old girl who was found dead inside a property in Surrey last week has been named as Sarah Sharif. Police say they're looking for 3 people who were known to the victim who left the country the day before she was discovered in Woking. Detectives have confirmed that no other people were present at the house when they attended in the early hours of Thursday morning. The first finalist at this year's World Cup will be decided today as Spain are currently taking on Sweden in the first semi-final. Meanwhile, England's Lionesses are preparing for their own opportunity to book a spot in the final when they play Australia tomorrow. Within the last hour, Australia's Mackenzie Arnold downplayed her team's rivalry with England.
Obviously, there's a massive rivalry between Australia and England, with sports all over the place, and that's obviously not going to be no different tomorrow, but at the same time we've got a lot of rivalries in football with Brazil, USA, New Zealand, so I think tomorrow is just going to be another game, and like Tony said, we're trying to focus on one game at a time and really focus on ourselves and our own game plan rather than getting caught up in a rivalry.
Sky's Jackie Beltrao has the latest now from Sydney.
It is Matilda's fever here in Australia. This World Cup has really caught the imagination of this country, particularly because the Matildas' last match was so excruciating but so thrilling at the same time when they won through on penalties against the French. And now it's England, this old sporting rival that they know from the Ashes. To be honest, with these girls, they're quite young, a lot of them, and I think that whole old rivalry definitely goes over their heads a little bit. That was the impression we got from the Matildas press conference earlier on today, and certainly a very similar feeling amongst the Lionesses as well. As Kira Walsh said in her press conference, we just want to win this match because we want to win this match. We don't care that it's Australia particularly. We just got used to winning, and that's what we want to do. In the Lionesses press conference a short while ago, here's what their captain Millie Bright had to say.
I think it's important that we enjoy it, but ultimately we're there to do a job. We have our game plan. I'm sure they have theirs. I think it's important to adapt to the game as well. Whatever they give to us, we adapt to the situation. I think that's something that we've done really well throughout the tournament. I think we've faced many different challenges. And we've adapted really well and shown different sides to us. And in terms of the crowd, I think we're just super excited to play in front of a really intense, full stadium. For the women's game, that's what we want, that's what we expect now at these big tournaments, especially in a semi-final. So for us, we thrive in those moments.
So it's going to be a very difficult one to call this. I mean, you can say that England, the Lionesses, have been solid so far, but not spectacular. They can go up another gear. That's what the team believe, but they haven't really shown it so far. They've had to mix and match because of injuries, and they've done that successfully and found a way to get through. Resilience is the word that Serena Wiegmann has used a lot about this team, and they have shown a lot of grit to get this far. But they need to do something more against the Matildas, who will have the crowd behind them. 83,500 in the Olympic Stadium behind me will all be baying for an Australian win, although the Lionesses said it is quite lovely when you go into a stadium like that when everybody is against you and you can quieten the crowd. That's what the Lionesses will be aiming to do, and to use their experience of winning the Euros to get them through this match, which undoubtedly is going to be extremely tricky.
Watching Sky News today. Coming up this morning, online child grooming crimes hit a record high as figures reveal the social apps it's happening on. Forever changed, the irreplaceable landmarks and homes destroyed by fires on the Hawaiian island of Maui. Flash mobs, but not as you know them. What has this video got to do with TikTok?
They pushed the protesters further back here. There's around 200 or 300 still remaining.
I'm Dan Whitehead and I'm Sky News' West of England correspondent.
This van goes onto the streets of Plymouth 7 days a week, 365 days a year.
These facilities at the moment are a lifesaver. It's all we've got.
From fishing communities to bustling cities, we spend every day reporting from across the region, hearing from people who have real stories.
We'll have nowhere to live for about 3 or 4 months.
There are still people inside the properties here. They're coming from the epicentre of what is now a global health pandemic. We were seeing and speaking to young women who were selling themselves right on the high street. It was desperately sad, and the fact it was happening right in the heart of this community.
Before Brexit, these oysters were being exported to the EU, but the trade stopped overnight.
What's your feeling about the future then?
Bleak. Might all be finished, I don't know.
Online child grooming crimes have hit a record high. The child protection charity, the NSPCC, says the figures show why the online safety bill needs to pass into law despite concerns from tech companies about privacy and security. Data from 42 UK police forces shows a record 6,350 crimes related to sexual communication with a child were recorded in the year leading up to March. That is an 82% rise since the offence was first defined in 2017. In all, about 34,000 online grooming offences have been recorded by UK police forces over the past 6 years. Girls were targeted in 83% of cases where the gender was known. Nearly 3/4 of crimes involved Snapchat and Meta Sites, the company that owns Facebook and Instagram. Our tech correspondent, Archie joins me now. Archie, where do we start? I mean, why is this not law already?
It's been in the works for quite a long time. The bill was first introduced in 2019. It's gone through a series of amendments. It's due to be seen again in Parliament next month, and MPs are set to vote on whether to make it legislation. But if we look at why this has increased so much in recent years, online grooming crimes have increased, as you said, about 80% in the 5 years since they were recorded in this way. And this is partly accelerated by the pandemic because more people were online for longer during the lockdown. And if I pull out some of those figures, it's 150 different apps, games and websites that were used to target children. So the breadth of this is really quite astonishing. And I think that these figures show the sheer scale of the risk that faces children. I spoke to Rani Govinder at the NSPCC about what can be done to tackle the situation. And she said this.
Tech companies really need to start designing their platforms with children's safety in mind. Since social media has become popular, these apps have been rolled out and they've been fundamentally unsafe by design for children, which is why online grooming cases have reached such record high levels. So to prevent this harm, we need tech companies to assess the risk on their platforms and really mitigate the chances of abuse and harm for children taking place on their sites.
The bill that's going through Parliament at the moment aims to improve safety, and as part of the regulations, they aim to make social media companies and search engines more responsible for the content that is published on their platforms. However, it has faced criticism, particularly surrounding private messaging and whether increased protections would compromise privacy. The leaders of some messaging apps, including WhatsApp and Signal, have said that allowing regulators to scan messages could break their commitment to end-to-end encryption. However, the NSPCC has argued that private messaging is the front line of abuse and should be included in the scope of the bill. We'll get an answer next month when it's put to Parliament.
Okay, Archie, thank you so much. Let's stay with online concerns now, because the new head of the Association of Police and Crime Commissioners has issued a warning for young people encouraged by social media flash robs. Donna Jones said social media challenges shared online are facilitating criminal activity. She has urged parents to take responsibility for the actions of their children and is calling for harsher penalties for those involved. So what are they? Well, it comes after 9 people were arrested during this incident on Oxford Street last week that saw shoplifting and confrontation with police following videos shared on social media encouraging mass disorder. And then this was in Los Angeles over the weekend. A flash rob of up to 50 people swarmed into a department store and made away with about $100,000 worth of luxury items. TikTok and other video sharing platforms have denied any responsibility for the incidents. Time for a quick look at the weather.
Warm memories wherever you go. The weather, sponsored by Qatar Airways.
It's been very wet recently and there will be more rain on Friday, but the next few days look drier and warmer. Temperatures will be around average this afternoon, feeling warm in the sunshine with light winds. There will be a mix of sunny spells and showers, but much of southeast England will be dry. The showers will be light for most, but the northeast can expect some heavy downpours, especially southeast Scotland and northeast England.
Friend Uruj from SendWave. SendWave is a money transfer app that is used by people all over the world to send money to their loved ones in Africa. With SendWave, you can send money to Ghana, Nigeria, Kenya, Uganda, and Tanzania. And the best part is, SendWave is absolutely commission-free. Our exchange rates are excellent. You can see for yourself by checking them out on our website. So how do you use SendWave? SendWave is an app that you can download onto your phone from the App Store or Google Play Store. The app is free to download. After downloading it, just open the app and enter your name, email, and phone number. That's it. You're good to go. Make sure you use the promo code SR. S for Starr, R for Radio. This promo code will give you £5 free credit to send to Africa on your first transaction. Your money will be delivered to your recipient within seconds. Feel free to call me on 0749 7377 647 at any time. I'll be happy to tell you all about SendWave and help you in any way I can. Remember to use the promo code SR for £5 free credit. Vedasse.
Hi everyone, it's your girl BB Clement, the author of How to Go From Employee to Entrepreneur and the host of your weekly business show, BB Means Business, the show where we discuss everything you ever wanted to know about business but you were afraid to ask. How do I start my business? How do I raise the finance? How do I grow my business? Where am I going to find my customers? Join me every Tuesday at 1:30 p.m. on Starr Radio UK to get all the information and tips that you need to become a successful entrepreneur and become financially free. Remember, don't let life dictate to you. Rather, put your signature on life.
Are you looking for the fastest, reliable, and trustworthy door-to-door shipment company? Well, look no further. When was the last time your family received a shipment back in Ghana on time and in time? You are not sure? Well, Lamb Shippers, we pride ourselves with being the fastest, reliable, and trustworthy shippers you can use. You are assured of a prompt pickup anywhere in the UK by our personnel. They also make sure your items are well packaged to get to its destination in time. When it comes to door-to-door shipment, look no further. Well, Lamb Shippers, contact us on 07939009321 or 07498911820. Or you can visit our website www.welllamp.co.uk. You can also drop us a mail, info@welllamp@gmail.com. Well Lamp Shippers, fast, reliable, and trustworthy.
Hi there. Are you dreaming of owning your own house in Ghana? Then you will need a well-documented piece of land that is free from troubles. I highly recommend My Africa Property for any size of land that you will need. With My Africa Property, lands are available in Prom Prom, Sopoli, Tohenia, Ogome, Dodoma, Winneba, and many other locations at affordable prices. These locations are about an hour away from the airport, only 35 minutes from the motorway, 10 minutes drive from Central University College, 10 minutes drive to the beach, and close to Prum Prum Senior High School and Ghana Men's Soccer Center of Excellence. For more details, visit our website www.myafricaproperty.com or call our UK office on 0208 123 2523. For our US and Canada offices, call us on +1 585 184 994145. You can also email us at ghana@myafricaproperty.com.
Tune in to On Point here on Starr Radio UK with Empress Regina every Monday at 5 p.m. GMT. Looking forward to your company.
Check me out. He tells me my energy is making him tired.
Yes!
How do you get the energy to do
I've been told that I have a lot of energy, but my goodness, I think today I have met my match, people. I have met my match, Miss Suzanne. Wow, amazing.
One of the things that's the start of the darkness. Of darkness.
So what did that?
Myself and the world will adjust. And 2019.
Forget the proverbial boardroom. Join me, Simone Frazier, on The CEO, the program that gives you the driving seat over your life. Every Tuesday, 8 p.m. only on Starr Radio.
Getting onto the property ladder has never been easy until now. Join us this and every Thursday from 7 p.m. to 8:30 p.m. live on the Property Hour show on Starr Radio UK, where we talk to mortgage brokers, property developers, estate agents, landlord, tenant, property consultants on how to invest or get into the property business and make money. You can't afford to miss this. The Property Hour show is your best source into the property industry.
Hi guys, this is your friend Uruj from SendWave. SendWave is a money transfer app that is used by people all over the world to send money to their loved ones in Africa. With SendWave, you can send money to Ghana, Nigeria, Kenya, Uganda, and Tanzania. And the best part is, SendWave is absolutely commission free. Our exchange rates are excellent. You can see for yourself by checking them out on our website. So how do you use SendWave? SendWave is an app that you can download onto your phone from the App Store or Google Play Store. The app is free to download. After downloading it, just open the app and enter your name, email, and phone number. That's it. You're good to go. Make sure you use the promo code SR. S for Star, R for Radio. This promo code will give you £5 free credit to send to Africa on your first transaction. Your money will be delivered to your recipient within seconds. Feel free to call me on 0749 7377 647 at any time. I'll be happy to tell you all about SendWave and help you in any way I can. Remember to use the promo code SR for £5 free credit. Medasse.
Hi everyone, it's your girl BB Clement, the author of How to Go from Employee to Entrepreneur and the host of your weekly business show, BB Means Business, the show where we discuss everything you ever wanted to know about business but you were afraid to ask. How do I start my business? How do I raise the finance? How do I grow my business? Where am I going to find my customers? Join me every Tuesday at 1:30 p.m. on Starr Radio UK to get all the information and tips that you need to become a successful entrepreneur and become financially free. Remember, don't let life dictate to you. Rather, put your signature on life.
Are you looking for the fastest, reliable, and trustworthy door-to-door shipment company? Well, look no further. When was the last time your family received a shipment back in Ghana on time and in time? You are not sure? Well, Lamb Shippers, we pride ourselves with being the fastest, reliable, and trustworthy shippers you can use. You are assured of a prompt pickup anywhere in the UK by our personnel. They also make sure your items are well packaged to get to its destination in time. When it comes to door-to-door shipment, look no further. Well, Lamb Shippers, contact us on 07939009321 or 07498911820. Or you can visit our website www.welllamp.co.uk. You can also drop us a mail, info@welllamp@gmail.com. Well Lamp Shippers, fast, reliable, and trustworthy.
Broadcasting live online. Turn it on. Turn it up.
It's your man. Bekutu, show them you got the cocoa set. Ladies and gentlemen, it's your boy Harry Song, aka Mr. Songs. This is the Kingmaker Baba for the girls. We're here. This is Star Radio. We don't go nowhere. UK, London. We call them London for home. For here, we call them London. And that's how you know. Just have fun and stay blessed.
Hi there, this is CJ Buckman, your life coach. And whenever I'm in London, I listen to Star Radio UK right here. But guess what? You can listen to wherever you are.
The best radio show.
Broadcasting worldwide, online 24/7.
All around the world. In your car.
At work.
At home.
On your
This
smartphone.
is Starr Radio UK. Are you ready to turn it up?
10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Your heart is aching. Smile even though it's breaking. When there are clouds in the sky, you get by. If you smile through your fear and sorrow, smile and maybe tomorrow you find that life is still worthwhile if you just smile. Hey, this is Archie and you are listening to Star Radio UK and the Morning Show.
This is Starr Radio. This is UK. Starr Radio UK. This is Starr Radio UK.
Welcome.
Broadcasting worldwide, online 24/7.
Enlighten your day with Starr Radio.
Love for you runs deep. All of you makes my heart beat. You make a doubt they fade. Jesus, and that's what makes you great. You hold the world in your hands.
Radio UK. This is Starr Radio UK.
Same for now, yesterday, and forevermore. And that's what makes you great. You are God. You will never change. You remain the same till the end. Till the end. You are God. One who took my pain, took away my shame. Lord, you reign. That's why forever call you great.
Okay, let me say massive good morning, good afternoon, good evening, good dawn to you wherever you might be on planet Earth and those of you on other planets as well. We want to salute each and every one of you and once again say welcome to the Star Radio UK Tuesday edition of the morning show. Today is the 15th day of August, the year 2023 with a time now 10:44 from the House of London. So as we did announce from yesterday that this week all the programs finishing at 12 o'clock. We're not having Miss Olaimi Kwaiki with us because they are all on the holiday break for a week. Everybody is trying to chill out, but the technical team are working assiduously to make sure that they take advantage of that time to make sure everything works out nicely after the return of every one of you. So once again, I want to say a massive good morning, good afternoon, good evening, good dawn to you wherever you might be on planet Earth, and those of you on other planets as well. We salute each and every one of you, and we say we love you to bits. And again, welcome on board. Well, I remain yours sincerely, the one and only.
This is the morning show with Archie.
So from now to 12 o'clock, this is how the program is going to be for you. If it's your first time of tuning in, especially on this holiday season week program, I'm going to bring you the quote for the day, the weather forecast will follow suit, then the travel updates. We'll move on from there to have a look at some of the stories making the rounds across the globe. That is known as Global Trotting. Then after that, at 11 o'clock, we'll bring you updates from Nigeria. Then we'll continue from there to look at some of the other stories making the rounds in other parts of the world. At 11:30, the lines are open for you to add your voice to the discussions. Then the program goes on till 12 o'clock when the curtains are brought down for the end of the program. Then, hopefully, keeping figures and everything crossed, we're trying to see whether we'll be able to bring BB Clement after the technical team has given us a signal. But that will be at 1:30. All of you miss. Then the DJs will take over, bringing you all the lovely music that you need to listen to. But I say massive good morning to all presenters on Starr Radio UK. Let me say good morning to my able producer, Mr. Francis Gai, and to Mr. Olaimi Koike and the family, all chilling. Yes, good morning to you. I hope you're having fun. And then to KB Bossman, good morning to you. Hey. Same ball now yesterday. The one and only Vicky, good morning. I'd like to say good morning to my brother Felix, all the way in Aberdeen. Kojo D, good morning to you. Kofi Ali Abdul Yakin, Mr. Kitty Yosin, Dr. Morton, and all you wonderful people. Hey, my brother Kwame, Charlie, you there? You know, hey, Charlie, have you know Chamifio? Yes, massive good morning to you. And I'm saying good morning also to the one and only Bishop Adesina and all the wonderful colleagues at the RBS office in Nigeria, Lagos, Nigeria. I salute each and every one of you. Anthony Adedeji, Olakunle, Aziz, good morning. Sam Maxwell, good morning. Moyiwa, good morning. Shamsuddin, I salute you all. I hope you're all doing good. I hope you're all doing good and not going to be leaving me because Mr. Olaimi Koike is not with us. He's having a break. Yeah. Wherever you are, keep your dial still logged on. Share the broadcast with your friends and loved ones and invite them to like our pages. All protocol observed, and we say welcome on board. Love for you runs things. Now moving on straight to the quote for the day, it says to constrain your potential by being too narrowly focused in today's global market is a huge mistake, and you should avoid that. So be open-minded, all right? Okay, diversification. Yeah. All right, then. So now let's move on to the weather front. Let me tell you what is happening on the weather front today. Well, and there's a breaking news as well, but I'll be bringing that your way in the next few moments. So when it comes to the weather front, well, this morning I woke up and it was a bit hot. They're walking through the gardens and I was like, oh my goodness. But hey, this afternoon is going to be partly cloudy and a few showers will start to develop, but there will still be sunny spells in between, turning dry and largely sunny again by the early evening. Tonight we will continue dry and areas of patchy cloud will tend to clear for most, leaving largely clear skies. Just few light patches of cloud drifting by at times. Then it's going to be light winds. Top of the temperature is going to be 24 degrees and the lowest 13 degrees. Pollen level high, UV level moderate pollution. Low sunset 2024. Sunrise for tomorrow morning 05:45 hours. And that brings us to the end of the weather forecast. It is Starr Radio UK. It is your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London. Let's take a quick commercial break. We come back and I bring you the travel update. Stay tuned and don't you go away.
Hi everyone, it's your girl BB Clement, the author of How to Go From Employee to Entrepreneur and the host of your weekly business show, BB Means Business, the show where we discuss everything you ever wanted to know about business but you were afraid to ask. How do I start my business? How do I raise the finance? How do I grow my business? Where am I going to find my customers? Join me every Tuesday at 1:30 p.m. on Starr Radio UK to get all the information and tips that you need to become a successful entrepreneur and become financially free. Remember, don't let life dictate to you. Rather, put your signature on life.
This is Starr Radio UK.
Okay, so keep your eyes on the roads, keep your eyes on the roads, and keep it navigated. I promise I'll born the Starr Radio Travel Lab that comes your way every weekday from 10:40. But coming at a later time today, 10:50. And what is your travels like this morning? Well, so on the major roads in London, we got Central and London Red routes that got serious delays. If you can avoid it, do your best to avoid that. That aside, all the others, no exceptional delays. And then we're moving on straight to some of the other stories. But let's make my apologies on the roads this morning. On the underground, Bakerloo Central Jubilee lines have all got minor and part delays, so check before you leave. London Overground has got a part closure there as well, so check before you use that route. That aside, all the others, good service throughout there. But keep your eyes on the roads, keep your eyes on the roads. Also keep it navigated. I promise our bond. I'm moving on straight on to the riverbank this morning. On the riverbank, the Woolwich Ferry has got plant closure. That aside, all the others, good service. But keep your eyes on the roads, keep your eyes on the roads. Also keep it navigated. So on the London cable car, we've got good service there as well. And that brings us straight to the final segment of the travel update. That's the National Rail. So on the National Rail this morning, Great Western Railway has got special service. Greater Anglia, severe delays. Southern and Thames Link has got minor delays. That aside, all the others, good service there. So that's why I will say it once again, as I will say it loud, yeah? Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, good dawn to you, wherever you might be on planet Earth. Enjoy your commute for today. But you know what? Continue to keep those eyes on the roads.
Tune in to On Point here on Starr Radio UK with Empress Regina every Monday at 5 p.m. GMT. Looking forward to your company.
Welcome back to the program Starr Radio UK, your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London. It's time for Global Trotting. Let's look at some of the stories making the rounds this morning across the globe. As I do say, from archaeology to zoology, from Accra to Zanzibar, if it's making the headlines, we definitely will touch on it. Now, when it comes to the UK front, where I'm bringing you breaking news that has come through, suspected Russian spies held in UK security probe. Now, 3 Bulgarian nationals suspected to be spying in the UK for Russia face trial for fake passports. All right then. And then moving on straight to some other stories making the rounds this morning as well. Yes. So in Nigeria, the stories that are making the rounds. Yes. CBN moves against black market operators to halt Naira falls. Try to slow it down. And NAF, a helicopter on casualty evacuation mission, crashes in Niger State. Niger State, my apologies. And no plan to increase fuel prices, the NNPC retailers are saying. More woes for passengers as NCAA slams fresh suspension on Max Air. Now, why office of deputy governor is controversial? APC chairman Ganduje speaks. So, why shouldn't they have office of deputy governor? So there was one state, I've forgotten it. If Yomi was here, he would have reminded me easily. Now, if you are listening to me or watching me in live, tell me, in the state where the governor has been taken ill for some time now, and he was even flown outside the country, and I remember some of the priests or some of the leadership were saying that he needed prayers. People have to be, offering prayers on his behalf. So what one is that? So if there is a deputy, the person can take over, and therefore it's very important. Okay, it's like the vice presidential position. You don't have much activity. You take that out of the US. You take that. There isn't much of any activity. It's as and when maybe the president is out of town or he delegates you to go and do something, and that actually is like clipping your wings. You sitting down, not doing that much, but having that position. So, well, in other places or jurisdiction, they have maybe they've been a watch over the financial sector or stuff like that. So, but I think there is a need for a deputy governorship position. What do you think? Especially in Nigeria, where we have states, big or large states, and where there are big populations, and you definitely need somebody to be on board. But what someone will tell you that if institutions are working, you only need one person to be directing affairs, and it doesn't matter if the person is incapacitated or whatever, it will take along nicely. But because we don't have institutions that are working, we have these problems. But Starr Radio UK. Now look, my friends, with Ganduje as APC chair, Tinubu weekly committed to anti-graft Watin Bulunkuman. Okay, well, Ganduje, is it the dollar man? Well, we'll be telling you more about that. And then some other stories making the rounds. Gas supply tax federal government on fixing bad roads, modular refineries as well. And Nasarawa Governor Sule swears in new commissioners. In other stories there in Nigeria as well. Nigeria, get ready for war. Army chief tells troops. Well, so are they going to? Or what is happening? And plowback recovered public funds to boost economy. Kalu urges the federal government. That's all to say. How do we do that? Yeah. Nigeria requires $20 billion annually for gas expansion projects. That's what Nati is saying there. So a lot more going to be coming your way from there. Don't touch the Latif Abdullahi, Governor Akeredolu of Ondo State. Thank you, Latif. Thank you very much. Now, he is not feeling well. He's indisposed. So, assuming he has a deputy, that deputy will stand in and to see to it that things take along the way they're supposed to. However, somebody would say that, look, if the institutions in that particular state is working the way it's supposed to, then there's no need. So, he is there. I mean, if it's today, he's incapacitated, the institutions are working perfectly. But we don't see that on the African continent. We don't see that, do we? Okay, so that's the question there. But thank you very much, Latif. I really appreciate that. Starr Radio UK. Now moving on to other parts of the world as well to look at some of the other stories. In Niger, Niger scraps jail sentence for head of group supporting military, and Algeria bans Barbie film from promoting homosexuality. Ethiopia MPs approve state of emergency in Amara region. And then Egypt Sisi hosts Jordanian Palestinian leaders to discuss two-state solution. Would that ever happen? Ever? Would it happen? Well, and then Senegal's main opposition coalition loses one of its founding parties. And Niamey presidents welcome plans to prosecute former president. Why do you think the former president should be prosecuted? But well, in Ghana, opposition warns president on Niger troop plans. Those are some of the stories making the round this morning on the African continent, and a lot more going to be coming your way. It is all coming your way from Starr Radio UK, your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London. All right then, in Ghana as well, the foreign minister is fuming. Foreign affairs minister fumes, sacks overstaying officers at passport office over suspected extortion. Now, Minister of Foreign Affairs and Regional Integration, Shirley Ayoko Bochwe, has raised her apprehension regarding the ongoing prevalence of extortion and corrupt practices within the passport office. After visiting the passport office on Monday, the minister conveyed her astonishment at the uncanny procedure that applicants are facing due to actions of certain personnel within the office. And I bet you they need to be fired like no man's business. You want to acquire a passport, it's not for free, you are paying for it. So why can't you get it? You get it, government makes money out of that. So what is their problem? You have the necessary documentation to acquire that. So what is the problem? Putting bottlenecks there, frustrating people. Well. It is all Starr Radio UK. It is your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London. In other parts of the world as well, as I did say, here in the UK, three Bulgarian nationals have been arrested for spying in the UK for Russia. And they are being arrested for having a fake passport. And Trump condemns Georgia election meddling charges as witch hunt. Now, Trump is calling everything witch hunt. witch hunt. And some of his supporters are saying that, you know what, anytime there's a charge or anything about the Biden family, quickly there is a charge. They find something to say that Trump is doing that, and then they come back. Did Trump say it? There is an audio that goes on where he was calling the Georgian governor to say, you know what, just find me 11,000 more votes so that I can win. But well, that didn't happen. Well, can that stop his quest to become a president again? Or would that dent his image? We know that so far as we are talking about, we have his supporters growing and being more resilient. But Star Radio UK is a station. The morning show is the program. UK wages grow at record rate and grooming cases at record high. Charity is warning. The NSPCC says 34,000 online sexual crimes have been recorded since its first call for tougher laws. And how is that going to be panning out? The PSNI should not be left leaderless after breach. Sir Jeffrey Donaldson says that the question of accountability for the mass data breach will come later. But the Northern Ireland Police Service are under serious threat. Okay, so this is a lot we're going to be looking at. Wherever you are, stay tuned. Don't you touch the dial. Star Radio UK. Let's enjoy this music. It's one that I just sampled this morning, and it says, "We wait." Enjoy it, and I'll be with you.
Only by your presence and only by your glory, by your power we are changed. Only by your presence, only by your glory, by your power we are changed. So we wait on you, Lord. We tarry in your presence, Lord. So we wait on you, Lord. We tarry in your presence, Lord. Bless the name of the Lord. We tarry in your presence, oh God. We tarry in your presence, Lord. So we wait. So we wait on you, Lord. We tarry in your presence, God. In your presence, Lord. We wait on you.
This is Starr Radio UK.
In your car,
At work,
at home,
on your smartphone.
We wait on you, oh Lord. We wait. on you, we wait. We wait on you, we wait. We wait on you, oh Lord. Say we wait. We wait on you, we wait. We wait on you, God. We wait on you, God. Come say we wait. We wait on you. We wait.
Well, the good book says, they that wait upon the Lord shall renew their strength. They shall mount out with wings like eagles. They shall run and not faint. They shall walk and they shall not faint as well. Well, but wherever you are and whatever you do, thank you very much for tuning in. That is a tune from the New Birth Praise. Wait on Him. Okie dokie, yeah, you know, because the program is finishing exactly at 12 o'clock throughout the week, so we are already pressed with time. But don't you worry, I've laid it up another lovely tune that I'll be bringing you before the close of the music. But for now, we have to go straight to the updates that is happening or that is in Nigeria. And as I did say, Yomi and the family are on holidays and therefore will not be part of the live show throughout the week. There will not be Niger Voices as well. We will just getting everything together nicely, and once that is done, we will get there. All right. Well, some more stories coming through from Nigeria that I want to just bring your way. I just want to bring your way in a moment where you gotta stay with me. That is some breaking news that is just coming through from Nigeria this morning. Federal government dissolves advertising standard panel over all eyes on judiciary billboards. The federal government has dissolved the secretariat of the advertising standard panel over its approval of billboards termed as blackmailing the presidential election petition tribunal with the title All Eyes on the Judiciary. The Director General of the Advertising Regulatory Council of Nigeria, Dr. Olalekan Fadolepo, announced the dissolution of the panel in a statement released on Tuesday. Now, Fadolepo said the council has also suspended its director and deputy director in charge of regulations to allow investigation into the issue. Now, while noting that some of the adverts were not approved by the ASP, he said the panel erred in the approval of one of the concepts as the advertisement failed vetting guidelines. Now, the ASP is a statutory panel under the council charged with the duty of ensuring the advertisement conforms to the prevailing laws of the Federation as well as the Code of Advertising Ethics of the advertising profession. Now, I ask myself the question, what is wrong with this advert or these billboards? All eyes on judiciary. The presidential election petition tribunal is ongoing. Okay? Well-meaning Nigerians are in court to reclaim our mandate. It is not over till the court gives the judgment. Sponsored by 1MCC. So they are doubting that. Now, when after the results was announced by the INEC, now when people were saying that, you know what, let's stop this, and what happened? They were saying that, of course, we just have to allow what is happening to happen so that we can all go back, we go to the courts and to seek redress from the courts. And so if somebody says all eyes on the judiciary, I don't see anything wrong with that. Unless, of course, somebody's got something to hide. Is the judiciary being induced? Are they being coerced to maybe rule in favor of whoever? So if people have tabled their grievances or their evidence, and it is strong enough that actually something wrong has been done, or accusations have been false, then why should they sanction that body? But well, I want to know what you think about that. It's all coming your way from Star Radio UK. Now, Tinubu bars Asari Dokubo. Oh, Niger Delta ex-agitators from Aso Rock. Yeah, that's a reaction. And what could be described as a shocking development is that all ex-Niger Delta militant leaders from visiting the presidential villa. President Bola Tinubu made this move following the public utterances and actions of Asari Dokubo in the aftermath of his visit to him after he assumed office on Monday, May 29, 2023. Interestingly, the presidential spokesman, Ajuri Ngelale, disclosed he has no idea of such a development. Now, President Bola Tinubu has taken a strong step regarding those who visit him from Niger Delta region. Fresh facts have emerged indicting the President Tinubu, indicating, the President Tinubu has barred all ex-Niger Delta militant leaders from visiting him in presidential villa. Already gathered information coming through that controversies, visits by notable militant leaders and ethnic militias from the oil-rich region to Tinubu in the villa have lately has been disapproved by the presidency. According to the report, the decision was taken in the aftermath of the visit to Tinubu by the leader of the defunct Niger Delta People's Volunteer Force, Alhaji Mojadin Asari Dokubo, on the June 16 this year. Now, it was gathered that Tinubu, in ordering the action, was disturbed by public utterances and actions of Asari Dokubo in the aftermath of his visit to him days after he assumed office as Nigeria's 16th president. Now, my issue has been that, so if it happened that somebody from the southeast, okay, they're ferry from the southwest, and the other from the southeast, I've forgotten the name of that group there, or any of them decide that they want to come and see the president, as we have Professor I've forgotten professor's name, a professor with Chief Dr. Sunday Igboho. Now he put in a letter, penning a letter to the president saying that, look, these are our quests, this is why we are doing whatever we are doing. Now, if they say that, okay, we want to have a one-on-one with him, okay, would they be also prevented? Or is it a stance by Asari Dokubo saying that, look, I have been helping the military in fighting insurgency and few things around the country, and the military are saying that no, we've not had anything of the sort. But meanwhile, he mentioned particular states that he has been involved, or his mercenaries have been involved in. So what are they doing? Are they backtracking? Well, listeners, it is Star Radio UK. It is your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London. Well, look, man, with Ganduje as APC chair, Tinubu weekly committed to anti-graft. War Tinubu, look, man. Now, with Ganduje as the APC chairman, that's the information coming through. The former national vice chairman, Northwest of All Progressive Congress, Dr. Salihu Lukman, has said the emergence of the immediate past governor, Kano State, Dr. Abdullahi Ganduje, as the party's national chairman, sent a disturbing signal that the President Bola Tinubu was only faintly committed to fighting corruption. In a statement yesterday titled Disturbing Signals, open letter to President Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu, Lukman said he was compelled to point out the disturbing signals which, if not averted, could produce bigger problems and irreversibly destroy the electoral viability of the APC. He also described the choices of Tinubu's ministerial nominees as a disappointment. What does he mean by that? The letter came as Ganduje charged APC members in the State House of Assembly to work with his successor, Governor Abba Yusuf, for the development of the state. Now, Lukman noted in the letter that without attempting to question Tinubu's authority, there were decisions the president took that were disturbing too many loyal party members. Now, Lukman stated in the letter to Tinubu, to be honest, making Dr. Ganduje national chairman of APC is a fair disturbing signal, Now, many party members are yet to recover from that shock. Why? With all the uncleared corruption allegation against Dr. Ganduje, you opted to nominate him to become the national chairman of the party, even when Article 31.5 subsection I of the Constitution of APC clearly gave Nasarawa State Executive Committee the power to nominate who should replace Senator Abdullahi Adamu. Given that Senator Umaru Tanko Al-Mukura is also is from Nasarawa State, he has been very loyal to you. It was scandalous that you opt for Dr. Ganduje with all the baggage of corruption allegations against him. Now, so do you think that with that means that Tinubu will not be able to function the way he will want to function, by means of anti-graft, where he pursues any corruption, the smell or the stench of it, he could smell it from afar and then act on it? Do you think he's compromised now? What do you think about all that? Let me hear from you. It is all coming your way from Starr Radio UK. It is your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London. Updates from Nigeria at 11:15 the time. Nigeria's Chief of Army Staff, Lieutenant General Tarid Abiodun Lagbaja, yesterday told troops of the country's armed forces to disregard rumors being peddled around that the military has been given marching orders to invade Niger Republic. He, however, enjoined them to be combat ready at all times, stressing that the Nigerian army is ready to defend Nigeria's territorial integrity if the need arises. Now, Lagbaja, who was addressing troops of the 8th Division Sokoto, advised that any information that does not emanate from defense headquarters is false and should be disregarded. The army chief, who spoke when he commissioned the newly built 8th Division, assured the people of Sokoto State that the Nigerian army will remain resolute in dealing with prevailing security threats across the country. He said the Nigerian army is committed to implementing President Bola Tinubu's marching orders to decisively deal with all security challenges facing the country. Lagbaja further disclosed that the 8th Division was formerly sited at Munguno, Borno State, but later moved to Sokoto in order to bring security apparatus closer to the region in view of emerging security challenges in the area. He maintained that with the commissioning of the newly built 8th Division, the soldiers and officers now have a conducive working environment. He thanked the former Chief of Army Staff, Lieutenant General Farouk Yahya, retired, for providing funds for the construction of the edifice, even as he urged those in charge to imbibe the culture of maintenance, stressing that other remaining facilities will soon be provided. In his vote of thanks, the general officer commanding the 8th Division, Major General Godwin Matkut, thanked the army chief for finding time to come and commission the building despite his tight schedule. Now, Matkut, who is also the commander, Joint Task Force Operation Handarin Daji, noted that moving the division to the permanent site would enhance the performance of soldiers and officers of the division. It is all coming your way from Starr Radio UK. Updates from Nigeria, your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London. Okay. Okay. Now, moving on to some other stories making the round this morning. Plowback recovered public funds to boost economy. Kalu urges federal government. A deputy speaker, Right Honorable Benjamin Okezi Kalu, has underscored the need for the country to plow back dormant resources in the form of recovered public funds to boost the economy and create employment. Now, Kalu made a session on Monday while declaring open the inaugural session of the House Ad Hoc Committee on Identification and Recovery of Public Funds seized, forfeited, and abandoned in financial institutions and government agencies to improve the current economic challenges in Nigeria chaired by Honorable Monachim Oloze, on behalf of the Speaker of the House, Right Honorable Tajuddin Abbas. He said, our mission is unequivocal to craft a comprehensive strategy that identifies, recovers, and channels idle funds into productive endeavors. Now, this dormant resources possesses the potential to reinvigorate our struggling economy, creating avenues for growth, development, and prosperity that resonate with every Nigerian. Our economic landscape is multi-dimensional, replete with challenges ranging from dwindling revenues and infrastructure gaps to unemployment and inflation. As we embark on our mandate, let us bear in mind that our decisions will echo across the lives of fellow citizens, especially those most affected by these adversities. Our unwavering dedication to transparency, accountability, and diligence is non-negotiable as we navigate through intricate financial systems, legal intricacies, and bureaucratic entanglements. Though the task ahead may appear formidable, Kalu said it needed a collective expertise of all to bring innovative solutions. He further stated that the collaboration among financial institutions, government bodies, legal entities, and the private sector was a necessary compass towards realizing the objectives, stressing that the committee had a task of optimizing the real-time value of recovered public funds to reinvigorate our economy. Additionally, this ad hoc committee role is not only paramount but transformative in three aspects. First, ensuring accountability and transparency. Second, establishing trust between government and its people. And third, optimizing the real-time value of recovered public funds to reinvigorate our economy, thereby preventing deadly capital, he said. Now that's quite an interesting one. So do we mean to say that funds that have been either retrieved or corrupted funds that have been stuck in some accounts are sitting there and it's not being used by for anything? And what are they there for? So why can't we use those funds to, invest in some developmental projects so that people can see that, look, we are benefiting from it, rather than keeping that money there? And I bet you some people will take it, find a way, and say that, well, that money, some snakes have swallowed it, and they take it away for about 3 months, and they will invest that money in high treasury bills or something, and boom, after that the money reappears because the snake has decided to throw up or vomit it back, and then they can put it back, and they would have made some big capital there for themselves. Catch my drift? So why can that money not be invested in some project, as Kalu seems to be alluding to? Well. Listeners, it's Starr Radio UK. It is your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London. Updates from Nigeria. Nigeria requires 20 billion annually for gas expansion projects. That's what the NEITI is saying. The Nigeria Extractive Industries Transparency Initiative says Nigeria requires $20 billion annually to achieve the desired gas expansion plan to bridge the country's gas infrastructure. Dr. Archie Ogbonaya Oji, that's NEITI Executive Secretary at the Policy Dialogue on Nigeria's Decade of Gas Action Plan on Monday in Abuja, said, given the shrinking fossil fuel investment landscape, clarity was required of infrastructure to be prioritized. The dialogue was organized by the African Initiative for Transparency, Accountability, and Responsible Leadership, Africa, in collaboration with the Natural Resources Governance Institution. The federal government in December 2020 rolled out the National Gas Expansion Program to deepen the use of natural gas and make it a preferred form of cleaner, cheaper energy for both personal and industrial use. In a remark, Archie said Nigeria had the largest gas reserves in Africa and the 9th largest globally, with gas reserves of over 200 trillion cubic feet. The Petroleum Industry Act, the PIA, provides the most significant progress for the gas sector in strengthening governance and providing physical framework for the sector's growth. The gas utilization plan should show that market-driven opportunities that will successfully translate the gas plans into sustainable economic development. For the gas utilization policy to work, there is a compelling need for deliberate, ambitious investment in its infrastructure. This includes specific connectivity across upstream facilities to processing power plants and other end users. The network code provides a framework through third-party access to resolve some of the connectivity issues, but to a large extent, achieving the desired gas expansion will require an estimated 20 billion annually, he said. Now, people talk about going and borrowing to invest, and I talk about the fact that you can go for loans, but so far as that money that you got in is being used or being invested, and that you can get value for the money and the interest and everything that you are paying for, perfect. We talk about let me talk about the oil refinery in Ghana. We call it TOR, the Tama Oil Refinery, and government keeps on pumping money in. Meanwhile, whatever is coming out is just less than that. But because, let me put it this way, some people are milking it, so they will do that, and some people sabotage it deliberately so that it will not function well. Because if it functions well, that means that those who are importing finished products into the country, it was going to affect their businesses. So it is their quest to always make sure that the the national oil refinery is not functioning properly. Okay, now we come to Nigeria as well, and we have a sense where we talk about 3 oil refinery, giant ones, that's supposed to be refining crude oil so that Nigeria will not be found wanting. However, what do we see? So if now the gas are saying that what we need 20 billion, if we are going to get value for money, if we are going to experience the promotion or the benefit of that investment, why not? Why not? Okay, though. 11:26. Let me try to bring you one other story before we move on to other parts of the world. And it is Starr Radio UK, and it is your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London. The former deputy governors elected under the ruling APC are not happy with the leadership of President Bola Tinubu. In a recent visit to the party's chairman, Dr. Abdullahi Ganduje, the ex-deputy governors decried exclusions from next meetings. That's the National Executive Council meetings. Now, they urged Ganduje to do needful and carry them along in his dispensation as a party's chairman, while noting that they have a strong footing in Nigeria's politics. A 60-member delegation of the group made the appeal on Monday, August 14, when they visited Ganduje at the APC national headquarters in Abuja. 60 members, and I mean that their edifice must be that massive, because 60 of them sitting around. My goodness. Okay, well. So now, while decrying their omission from the list of dignitaries that turned up for the NEC meeting recently, the chairman of the forum, Chris Akomas, said the ex-deputy governors have a massive following in Nigerian politics. So what do you think? Do you think that position is very, very important, that it needs to be protected? What do you think about that? I did ask a question about the Ondo State Governor, and Latif gave me that answer, and that was Akeredoro, who has been taken ill. Do you think that if as a deputy, it is not worthwhile? Wouldn't he see to it that things work on, though, whilst he is incapacitated? Well, what do you think about all that? It's quite an interesting one there. It is all coming your way from Starr Radio UK. It is your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London. Okay. Well, there been an helicopter crash. The Nigerian Air Force has said its MI-171 helicopter on a casualty evacuation mission crashed on Monday at about 1 p.m. near Chukuba village in Niger State. Director of Public Relations and Information, Air Commodore Edward Gabquet, in a statement made available to defense correspondent, disclosed that the aircraft had departed Zungeru Primary School en route to Kaduna, but was later discovered to have crashed near Chukuba village in Sihoro local government area of Niger State. He explained that efforts were currently ongoing to rescue the crew and passengers on board the helicopter, while preliminary investigations have commenced to determine the probable cause of the crash. We'll be bringing you more updates on that as and when we receive that. But it's all coming your way from Starr Radio UK. A final story. The Central Bank of Nigeria has warned black market dealers that its proposed measures could lead to losses for them. The acting governor of the CBN, Falashuddin Shinobi, disclosed this on Monday, August 14, that following the fall of the naira in the black market, the Central Bank of Nigeria has begun introducing forex intervention measures to clamp down on currency dealers and speculators in the forex markets. The acting governor of the CBN, Falashuddin Shinobi, revealed the development to journalists at the State House in Abuja on Monday, August 14, 2023, after meeting with President Bola Tinubu. Well, according to Shinobi, Tinubu showed concerns over the effects of the recent development in forex market, especially on Nigeria. He said the black market naira volatility is driven not only by economic factors but also by speculative demand. The CBN governor warned speculators that the planned measures could potentially lead to severe losses for them. But one question that has eluded lots of Nigerians at this time, I don't know, maybe you are thinking about it, is a new currency that was introduced under Buhari when we have the one and only former central bank governor. Yes. Now the question is, they pushed the changes of the new currency to the end of the year. We are in August. If they had rolled it out gradually and people are using it alongside the old currency by December, I bet everybody would have had. But if you are listening to me, how easily accessible is the new naira notes? Are you getting them? Or that one too is a problem there? So if that is a problem, where was all the money that were printed? All right then, listeners, this is Starr Radio UK. We're going to take a commercial break, and once we come back, I take you to other parts of the world and we'll look at some of the stories making the rounds there. Starr, your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London.
This is Starr Radio UK.
Hi guys, this is your friend Uruj from SendWave. SendWave is a money transfer app that is used by people all over the world to send money to their loved ones in Africa. With SendWave, you can send money to Ghana, Nigeria, Kenya, Uganda, and Tanzania. And the best part is, SendWave is absolutely commission free. Our exchange rates are excellent. You can see for yourself by checking them out on our website. So how do you use SendWave? SendWave is an app that you can download onto your phone from the App Store or Google Play Store. The app is free to download. After downloading it, just open the app and enter your name, email, and phone number. That's it. You're good to go. Make sure you use the promo code SR. S for Starr, R for Radio. This promo code will give you £5 free credit to send to Africa on your first transaction. Your money will be delivered to your recipient within seconds. Feel free to call me on 0749 7377 647 at any time. I'll be happy to tell you all about SendWave and help you in any way I can. Remember to use the promo code SR for £5 free credit. Medasse.
Hi everyone, it's your girl BB Clement, the author of How to Go From Employee to Entrepreneur and the host of your weekly business show, BB Means Business. the show where we discuss everything you ever wanted to know about business but you were afraid to ask. How do I start my business? How do I raise the finance? How do I grow my business? Where am I going to find my customers? Join me every Tuesday at 1:30 p.m. on Starr Radio UK to get all the information and tips that you need to become a successful entrepreneur and become financially free. Remember, don't let life dictate to you. Rather, put your signature on life.
Welcome back to the program. It is Starr Radio UK. It is your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London. Sir Moses Olariran. Hey, he said, Archie, it's Archie, my man. Good morning to you in England, and it's good morning all the way from Nigeria, a place called Location 9 by Sam. It is Zoo. Oh my goodness, Moses. No, there is hope. There is hope. Let's keep fingers crossed. We don't know. Well, but what do you think about everything that has been discussed? Well, listen to Starr Radio UK. As I've said, this week we bring the programs to a close at 12 o'clock so that the Central team can do all the work that they have to do. And Ms. Olaimi Koike is not going to be with us because it's the holiday season here and everybody has to do their best to take their kids and all of them to the if you don't take your kids on holidays, when the school reopens and they go to school, their colleagues ask them, did you go on holidays? They say, no, my mommy didn't take me. No, we don't want that. That's why. Okay, it says now here in Nigeria for good 2 weeks, and it's like a mini hellfire. Oh my God, so Moses, or the reciprocate of hell, the place all sinners will. Oh my goodness. But at least we thank God Nigeria has not happened to you, so Moses. Okay then. Okay, all right then. Listeners, Starr Radio UK. Now let's move on to other parts of the world. Let's look at some of the other stories making the round. We've got about another 24 minutes to bring the program to a close, but it's interesting and lovely to have you all there listening and enjoying the program as well. In Nigeria, a Niamey court on Monday scrapped a 9-month jail sentence handed to Abdullahi Saidu, head of the leading activist group which supports the ruling military, his entourage said. The members of Nigeria's presidential guard seized power in a coup late last month. Now, Saidu, head of the M62 group, had been behind bars for 7 months in a case involving an army air strike on suspected jihadists in the south of the country. The Niamey Court of Appeal has cancelled the decision of the High Court, which has sentenced our comrade Abdullahi Saidu to the 9 months in prison, said M62 Secretary General Sanusi Maman. We have always said Abdullahi Saidu's detention is an arbitrary decision orchestrated from start to finish. The M62 movement set up a year ago is a coalition of around 10 groups and NGOs opposed to the presence of French military forces in Niger. In recent weeks, it has led calls for rallies to support officers who on July 26 toppled the country's elected president Mohamed Bazoum. Saidu was taken into custody in January and sentenced in April. His group had accused the defense and security forces of massacring civilians in helicopter raids on an illegal gold mine last October, launched on the grounds that the alleged killers of 2 police officers had holed up there. The government has acknowledged airstrikes were carried out after 2 police were killed at Tomo near the border with Burkina Faso. It said 7 people were killed and 24 wounded in the raids, but the political opposition and civic groups say the death toll was much higher than that. But it's all coming away from Starr Radio UK, your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London. So on the African front, at least 5 Tunisian migrants are dead and 7 missing in another shipwreck. Well, in DRC, President Tshisekedi offers last chance for peace to Ituri and Northern Kivu rebel groups. DRC President Felix Tshisekedi called upon the rebel groups in the Ituri and Northern Kivu provinces to put down their weapons and join what he terms a Georgia thing. Okay, he's dubbed them disarmament and reinsertion operation on Monday. The Congolese President Felix Tshisekedi launched an appeal to all those who are disrupting peace in the Ituri and Northern Kivu provinces on Monday, stating the government of the Republic has committed itself in good faith to offering a last chance for a peaceful solution to the rebel groups still present. Insecurity in Eastern DRC has been a menace to the very existence of current political institutions, added President Tshisekedi during the panel discussions evaluating the state of siege introduced in 2021 in the conflict-ridden provinces. Now, the roundtable, attended by multiple government dignitaries, to rule on Wednesday on the strengths, weaknesses, and other contours of the states of siege, with a view to informing and guiding the president's decision to whether to maintain it, reclassify it, or lift it all together. This is all coming your way from Starr Radio UK. It is your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London. 20 minutes to 12 and 20 minutes to the end of the program. Now, in Ghana, the Foreign Affairs Minister has been filming and sacking overstaying officers at passport office over suspected extortion. The Minister of Foreign Affairs and Regional Integration, Shirley Ayoko Bochoy, has raised apprehension regarding the ongoing prevalence of extortion and corrupt practices within the passport office. After visiting the passport office on Monday, August 14, the minister conveyed her astonishment at the uncanny procedures that applicants are facing due to the actions of certain personnel within the office. A report published by the UNODC in 2021 identified passport agency officials as one of the categories of public officials in Ghana who are most likely to accept bribes. The minister expressed her sorrow over the existence of such extortion and disregard for proper conduct, especially considering the crucial role the passport office plays in facilitating international travel. On the back of this, the minister has directed overstaying security officials who have been seconded to the passport office to refrain from reporting for duty beginning Monday, August 21, 2023. We have always said that no agency should keep their staff here for more than a year, and yet this is overlooked sometimes, and so I intend to ensure that this is carried out to the letter, she explained. During an interview, she emphasized that a comprehensive investigation has been initiated to address the prevailing situation. We are investigating and we have some leads which are dealing with and very soon, my apologies, we will be able to have some firm information that will deal with it. So wrong, she added. The minister lamented that the current efforts to streamline operations at the passport office through digitization have been hindered by specific civil servants who manipulate the online application system for their personal gain. She further urged passport office staff to refrain from engaging in extortion and unethical conduct. The minister encouraged them to uphold professional standards, maintain a high level of work ethics, and treat applicants with respect they deserve. And let me say good morning to Anthony Adedeji, my brother. I hope you are doing very, very, very well. Yes, listeners, Starr Radio UK, we will bring the program to a close in the next 17 minutes. But as I did say, that this afternoon there's going to be a repeat broadcast of the BB Means Business show. As I did say, the technical team are taking over and making sure that whilst we are bringing skeleton programs your way, we put everything together nicely, and by the time we resume next week, God willing, everything will be mwah! Okay, so thank you very, very much for your support there, Starr Radio UK. One other story, okay, there's that the story that I brought to you from Ghana. But now let's move on to the UK and other parts of the world. I brought you one breaking news, and another breaking news have just come through. Now, personal details of crime victims and witnesses have been released in data breach by Norfolk and Suffolk police forces. So if you happen to be in that particular area, you are a victim, you are a witness, being forewarned is being forearmed. Now, what is all this about data breaches that seem to be going on? You know, that's been the reason where when they tell me, oh, cloud and all that I said, no, old school. All that I do, I still have my SIM. I try to put on my memory card. Now, I don't want to say nothing, because they always have this data breach thing that seems to be going on somewhere, somehow. You remember that data breach thing that went on, with the US and is it Mali or Niger? Where I think it's Mali, and then they were trying to send a mail, forward information, and then the information, instead of going to Mali or something, I think the prompting took it straight to Mali, and then push, it's gone to them. So the same thing seemed to be happening. But well, that is what is happening here. I have two of those stories that I will bring your way. That from the Northern Ireland, and that from the latest one that I brought out, Suffolk and Norfolk as well. But now let's move on to other stories making the rounds. Now, the prosecutors in the U.S. state of Georgia have charged Donald Trump and 18 others with attempting to overturn his 2020 election loss there. Okay, so they're not looking at the whole, but they're looking at Georgia specifically as a state. Now, the former president is facing 13 new charges, which include racketeering and election meddling. An investigation was sparked in part by a leaked phone call in which the Trump asked Georgia's top election official to find 11,780 votes. Now, Trump lost the state of Georgia to Joe Biden in 2020 presidential election. This is his fourth criminal indictment. He faces 78 charges from the 3 other cases for allegation over election interference, hush money paid to a porn star, and hoarding classified documents. Now, Trump has denied any wrongdoing. He's not done anything wrong in all of his criminal cases, calling the latest charge a witch hunt and suggesting they were politically motivated. He hopes to win the U.S. presidency again next year and is currently the frontrunner for the Republican Party's nomination. But in relation to that, an article has been penned in generated there. Democratic Congressman Adam Smith, one of Trump's political opponents, says that the justice system is doing what it's supposed to be doing. There is a mountain of evidence that President Trump and people close to him try to overturn the elections. They need a full public hearing. The former president should be tried, and we should look and see where the evidence goes. Now, Smith thinks that Trump's indictment will fire up the Republican Party to support Trump in his bid for presidency. But in a quote, he says, I hope the Republican Party get past the cult of Donald Trump and get back to being a reasonable conservative party. But right now, they are not that. So how do you see the Republican Party in the U.S.? Has it become a Trump cult where whatever Trump is doing, whether right or wrong, is seen as a holy? Oh, that is holy. Oh, that is Donald Trump. Oh, yes. Because remember, Trump has said it. He said during his campaign, then he said if he takes a gun and shoots at somebody there, he will have his people supporting him. And lo and behold, that is exactly what he's doing. And you know what he said in the past as well, when he was being asked some question pertaining to whether he wanted to be to run for presidency or not. He said he didn't have that intention yet, but if he wanted to do so, he was going to join the Republican Party because they think that they don't use their heads, because all that sycophancy and all that, oh, this is what God has given unto us, so whether he's killing us or whatever. But well, somebody asked you, what is your stand I want to tell you my stand here, okay? But what do you think? Is it a cult? Are they being realistic? My goodness. Listen to Starr Radio UK, your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London. Let's come to the UK front. Now, in the UK front, the breaking news that came through. Oh my goodness. 3 suspected spies for Russia in the UK have been arrested and charged in a major national security investigation. The defendants are all Bulgarian nationals, were held in February and have been remanded in custody since. It is alleged that they were working for the Russian security services. They are charged with possessing identity documents with improper intention and are alleged to have had these knowing they were fake. The documents include passports, identity cards, and other documents for the UK, Bulgaria, France, Italy, Spain, Croatia, Slovenia, Greece, and the Czech Republic. The 3 defendants were arrested under the Official Secret Act by counter-terrorism detectives from the Metropolitan Police, which has national policing responsibility for espionage. They are Olen Rusev, 45, of the Great Yarmouth, Norfolk; Bizer Zambazov, 41, of Harrow, Northwest London; and Katrin Ivanova, 31, of the same Harrow address. The trio have lived in the UK for 4 years, working in a variety of jobs and living in a series of suburban properties. Mr. Rusev has history of business dealings in Russia. He moved to the UK in 2009 and spent 3 years working in a technical role in financial services. His online LinkedIn profile states he later owned a business involved in signal intelligence, which involves the interception of communications or electronic signals. Mr. Rusev, whose most recent address is a seaside guest house in Great Yarmouth, also states he once acted as an advisor to the Bulgarian Ministry of Energy. In Harrow, former neighbors described Mr. Zambazov and Miss Ivanova as a couple. Mr. Zambazov is described as a driver for hospitals, and Miss Ivanova described herself on her online LinkedIn profile as a laboratory assistant for a private health business. Now, the pair, who moved to the UK around a decade ago, ran a community organization provides services to Bulgarian people, including familiarizing them with culture and norms of British society. Now, according to Bulgarian state documents online, they also work for electoral commissions in London, which facilitate voting in Bulgarian elections by citizens living abroad. That is a big one there. My goodness. And this all coming away from Starr Radio UK. I'm going to bring you one other story and then, two other stories. Sarah Sharif, international manhunt over murder of a 10-year-old girl. An international manhunt for 3 people continues following the murder of a 10-year-old Sarah Sharif. A post-mortem examination will take place later for Sarah, whose body was found alone in the early hours of Thursday at her home in Woking, Surrey, following a call for her welfare. Now, Surrey police said 3 people it was trying to locate who were known to Sarah left the UK the previous day. The force is working with international authorities to find them. The local imam said the community had been shocked by her death. Hafiz Hashimi, imam of the Shah Jahan Mosque, said he had not been able to sleep in recent days. We were immensely shocked and saddened. Can't believe something like this can happen to such an innocent child. Well. What caused the death? Why did they skip the country? This all coming away from Starr Radio UK, your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London. Okie dokie do. Well, there's supposed to be a football today. You know, I've not been watching it today. But well, the World Cup, the Women's World Cup semi-final matches are taking place. One taking place today and one other taking place tomorrow. And we will try to see, get you all the results. But tomorrow is going to be as my Nigerian brothers and sisters will say, woto. All right then, Starr Radio UK. All right, one final story, as I did say, and then we'll bring the program to a close and wait for BB Clement's repeat broadcast that will be taking place sometime this afternoon. The police service of Northern Ireland should not be left leaderless while a massive data breach is investigated, the Democratic Unionist Party, the DUP leader, has said. The data, which was mistakenly released, included the surnames and first initials of 10,000 police service Northern Ireland staff. Now, Chief Constable Simon Byrne said the information was now in the hands of dissident Republicans. The former vice chairman of the SDLP, Tom Kelly, has called on him to resign. The DUP leader, Sir Geoffrey Donaldson, said that the PSNI should not be left leaderless, but that it needed to be established very quickly how the breach had happened. Sir Geoffrey added, the question of accountability for the breach will follow, but I don't want to leave the PSNI leadership at this stage. It is important he oversees this stage for the process, he said. That leadership is necessary to ensure stability within the PSNI. The information released in the data breach included the rank or grades of staff, where they are based, and the unit in which they worked. Mr. Bryan said the information could be used to intimidate or target officers and staff. The threats to officers means they must be extremely vigilant about their security. Now, many, especially from nationalist communities, keep their employment secret, in some cases even from many family members. In March, the terrorist threat level in Northern Ireland was raised from substantial to severe. Meanwhile, an attack is highly likely. That followed an attack on a senior officer who suffered life-changing injuries after being shot several times by dissident Republican paramilitaries. Earlier, former Northern Ireland Policing Board member Tom Kelly said that the buck stops at the top of any organization, that Mr. Byrne should have stepped down within a day or two of the breach becoming public. He is ultimately responsible for this. There are serious questions to be asked because of the safety of his officers are at stake, says Mr. Kelly. Listeners, this is Starr Radio UK, and this is where I bring the program once again to a close for today. God willing, tomorrow will be coming your way with another edition of the morning show. But as I did say, we're having cool days just to finish the program at 12. The technical team take over so that before we resume next week, where Mr. Olaimi Kweke will be joining us back from his holiday, where he's going to be telling us all that he did. Yomi, be ready. People are waiting to know what he did. Well, so on that note, I would say thank you very much. But it's a new song that I just uncovered this morning from Kofi Bonham, and it says, Names of Talkatives. Well, you know, back in the day when we go to school, and most of the time I've been a class prefect. Most of the time. And I'll have to be writing the names of talkatives and stuff like that, and you have a problem. You have a problem when those who are stronger than you try to come and fight you, or some are threatening you. But I never fought in school. Never. I always had people who do my diligence and stuff. But well. Listen, to Starr Radio. Okay, so I'm going to bring you that song. But let me acknowledge Oluwale Oguntala. He says, good morning and well done, Archie and the technical team. Hashtag free Sunday Igboho. Yes. Hashtag get him freed so that he can see to the burial of the mom. So wherever you are, it's my prayer once again, may Nigeria not happen to you. But enjoy this song from Kofi Boham, Names of Talkatives. Enjoy it. When that song ends, you don't hear from me. It's been me, Archie, saying have a top of the day. Bye-bye for now.
single song on this album, y'all. It's no secret in our world. People like to talk the things they know and the ones they don't. They will spread lies and rumors just to be known. So why are you wasting your time like this? Hearing those things that break your heart. Give no attention, give no thoughts. Cause people talk, but they'll never help you walk. So whenever they speak,
this is Starr Radio UK.
A broken pencil and a sheet, and tell them, say, I'm writing names of properties. Yeah.
All of this noise you're making on me. Teacher will get you when he comes. I have a race.
No time to waste.
No time to waste.
I'm writing names of talkers.
I'm writing names of talkers.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8,
all of
9.
this noise you're making on me.
Teacher, let the when he comes.
Teacher will catch you when he comes. I have a race.
No time to waste.
No time to waste.
There are many voices in this life, and to be honest, many are not nice. So don't hear something and pick a knife. Cause most of these things are nothing but lies. Teacher said, be careful how you hear. Cause there are talkatives here, they are everywhere. So silence the voices in your head and give no attention to your fears. I'm writing names of talkatives.
All of this noise you're making on me. Teacher will get you when he comes.
As for me,
I have a race.
No time to waste.
No time to waste.
I'm writing names of talkers.
I'm writing names of talkers.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8,
all of
9,
this noise you're making on me.
14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19,
Teacher
20.
will get you when he comes. I have a race.
Yeah.
No time to waste.
Can we talk?
Yeah.
Can we talk? Yeah. Call them, say,
talkative.
Do you know any?
Talkative.
Yeah. Have you met any?
Talkative.
Can we write some?
Talkative.
List some names of talkatives. I am going now.
Talkative.
Yeah. Some friends are.
Talkative.
Some family members.
Talkative.
Some landlords are.
Talkative.
I said your exes are.
Talkative.
Your exes are.
Talkative.
Have you known any?
Talkative.
Move away far from.
Talkative.
Opinions are.
Talkative.
Bloggers.
Talkative.
Social media.
Talkative.
Old friends.
Talkative.
Some doctors report are.
Talkative.
Some symptoms are.
Talkative.
Addictions are.
Talkative.
Move away far from.
Talkative.
People's opinions are.
Talkative.
You are too fast. You are too slow. You talk too much. You are very quiet. Open makeup, dodo. Your face is so raw. You sing too much. You don't sing at all. The last time I heard they said, are you the one they said you did? Are you sure you know her?
Sit back, relax.
She doesn't like me.
Thanks for listening.
All of these things are move away from run away from, keep some distance from.
Thanks for listening.
Do you know any targeted? Have you met any targeted? Do you know any targeted? So move away from yeah.